All right, so where we left off, buy three, get one free for Renew, Sleep, and Neuro is happening this month. And then the Gold Cruise. So we got about 7 people qualified for that, some couples. From all the way to March 26th, you can get qualified for that. We have Melanie Simpkins, Stephanie, I can't say her last name ever. She's on Megan and Sebastian's team, Lisa Bernardi, Eric and Crystal Grayville, Reed and Cheryl Sanders, and Corey Marrero. So going on a free cruise here in May. Be awesome. There's a bunch of other people that are close, so keep pushing for that. It's an amazing time to be around other leadership in the company, Dallin and the founders of the company also. So momentum is starting, guys in this company, if you research network marketing companies, it's called critical mass. It happens from year 1 to 5. And when a company starts to hit momentum, it's usually between them years from 1 to 5. It's called critical mass. And you're really starting to see it in the numbers of this team, but also in the company. The company's growing 25% each week. So get out there and share it. People that have been working at this very hard for the last year are just now starting to see the fruits of their labor. I was talking to someone through text last night. It's a good friend of mine. They haven't had much success over the last year, but they just made $600 this past week on Friday. That's probably like one of their biggest checks. And the biggest thing I took away from it, he's like, man, we have been working very hard over the last year and not really seeing any fruit of our labor, but now we are. So, or where you work very hard for a year, not many people will. And this couple just kept serving, not only just serving their team, but also serving as friends, serving at events, showing up at events, even without seeing much in their business. And I have much respect for people that do that because they're not really focused on here and now. They know what this can lead to. And they're just like I posted on my Facebook yesterday, don't be steered by your feelings. Be steered and driven by your dreams, and that'll take you places. So that was very awesome to be a part of from my wife and I last night. Monday, 10 a.m., the first inaugural Francois home meeting here in Jacksonville.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. I've been pushing her for years to do this. I think for the hardest jobs in the world, the stay-at-home mothers and some dads, to do home meetings during the day. There's a crowd that can do that even easier because at night things get busy. Sports, like Zach's at the baseball field now. So and a lot of kids have sports at night. Moms can't get out of the house, or dads, or whatever. And so it's a lot. It's actually there's a crowd you can actually focus on during the day here. And I think it's going to be really powerful. Megan Costelli kind of put this, she's raring to go.
Well, no, you know what I wanted to say too is that, we've been doing home meetings for a really long time. And, it was kind of uncomfortable for me to do a day meeting. So between Della and, Megan and Ashley Rhodes, like the 3 of them doing those home meetings really just kind of pushed me and said, well, they're doing it, I have to do it too. So thank you guys for pushing me out of my comfort zone and
that's where I was
helping
going.
me grow. Yeah, but I guess it's better coming from me and we're always on the same page.
Della and Megan kind of started this trend here in Jacksonville, and I loved it. And I've been telling Francois to do that for a while.
Holly told me from like day one, do day meetings. I'm like, okay.
So Holly started this in Montague, and she would have everybody over around lunchtime or mid-morning. They'd have coffee in the morning, or they'd have lunch together, because you can entice people, say, hey, we're going to have, not everybody has to do this. Don't think you have to, but they would have lunch at the house because, you get people on their lunch break. So that was very powerful. That started Monday, 10 a.m. at our house right here. So don't miss it. If you're in Jacksonville, bring some people. Tie them up, duct tape them, whatever you got to do, put them in your car. So March 13th, right here in Jacksonville, Corbin Roush, our sponsor, our friend, master distributor that made over $15 million in this profession, will be here. I say $15 million because for them to make $15 million, a lot of other people got blessed. And it's really a direct reflection how many people you help when your income is that high. So don't miss it. Bring people, get here. If you're in a 2-hour driving distance, you should be here. I know Gary and Van Womack and that group came last time, and Daryl Gold got really fired up, so went out and started signing people up. The 14th in Tampa, Corbin will be there, so don't miss that if you're in the Tampa area. And 15th, Boynton Beach, Corbin will be there also down south. And then the biggest event here coming up, the regionals, that'll push to the March to Million national event, March 24th. I know I said the 28th to a lot of people here recently in person. I was totally wrong. March 28th, Lake City, Florida. We'll be there. The whole team should be there. If you're in an 8-hour driving distance is what Holly says. So make sure you get registered for that. April 21st, Ontario, California. April 28th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where Holly and Corbin live, so that'll be an awesome event. They flew us up there last time we spoke at that one. Great event. Holly does it really big. And June 23rd, Idaho. And then also, for all you women out there, May 18th through the 20th, Francoise, no pressure, will be speaking in that event, Into Your Life, plus many other amazing women. And there's a lot of women from our team going to this. They're going to have a blast. They are a bunch of fun women. I know you're going to have a lot of fun there. So that's the Visayo Women Vision first inaugural, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So don't miss that. Make sure you guys get registered. Go to that. They're going to have a lot of fun. And then the most important event that I can't stress enough, this is where a lot of people, if you build up to these events and you get to the national event, you really see the big picture. And there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming at the March to a Million event, August 9th through the 11th. And I know I've talked to a lot of leaders on our team. They're going out there early. They're going to make this as a vacation. We probably will too. So that's August 9th through the 11th. It is imperative that you go ahead and register for this. They have a beautiful, I don't know if you've seen the pictures yet, beautiful event. It's a theater style. It is a beautiful venue, but it's only going to sit 3,000 people. This will sell out. This event will sell out. It's a national event, so there'll be people from all 7, 8 countries that we're in coming to March to a Million. So it will sell out. Make sure that you get registered. Once it sells out, you can't get a ticket. So make sure there'll be new stuff, a lot of new stuff being released that you will want to see at the national event.
Okay, so today, guys, I want to give you guys some tips on Facebook Lives because I see a lot of people doing them more and more. And some people that have been doing them, I think they're forgetting a few things. And I'm not a pro at this at all, but I'm going to give you some tips. So if you have a pen and paper, I want you to write these down. So if you guys are doing a Facebook Live, right, first of all, the first thing you want to think about is, what is your message? What are you trying to say? Just don't go out, just don't get on Facebook Live and talk, right? So what I've learned is there's a few things that you should always do. One is inspire, educate, and then make people laugh and smile. So those are 3 things you want to hit on during a Facebook Live. And so typically the lineup, every time I do a Facebook Live, I have a piece of paper and a pen, and I write down just my agenda of what I need to do. Because when I press live, I don't know what happens to me, guys, but my heart starts racing, my hands get all sweaty, I get so nervous, and things they just don't work right in my brain. I don't know, it's just something happens. And so these are the things that you should want to write. These are things you should write down. First, when you get on, you want to do some shout outs, right? You want to engage with the viewers as they come in. Then just do some small talk because you're kind of nervous. So I think if you just talk about your day or something that excites you, I mean, you could talk about the weather, it's not super fun, but just find a way to get into a relaxed state of mind and a state of being. Then after that, you want to introduce yourself, because if you're making it public, right, and that's what I suggest you do, is make it public, not just your friends, so you can reach other people that are not in Visayo. If you do make it public, tell people who you are, because they might not know who you are. And then share your story. And a lot of times people are coming to me and they're saying, you know, I want to get on Facebook Live, but I don't know what to share. And I'm thinking, well, you know, they're like, I have nothing to share. You know, I have nothing to talk about. And I'm like, you have a story. Everybody has a story. And your story will inspire others. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable and share the things that might help, you know, your struggles that might help others. And so, you know, tell your story and then educate through your story. So whatever the topic is, use your story to teach. I know Ricky and I are currently now we're opening up our schedule where we'll do like 1 or 2 Facebook Lives a day with people. And then you guys, this is kind of just like a connect call, but instead of calling your friends, you're just doing a connect call almost on Facebook, and whoever wants to listen listens, and it's kind of cool because you don't really have to pick up the phone. And the people that that they're actually interested, that maybe you might have never picked up the phone and call, now have access. And remember, it takes 6 to 7 times for people to actually make a sale. So this is just a touch. And you can always follow up with additional information, or maybe they're just following your Facebook page. So these are just some things that, during that Facebook Live you want to hit on. And then don't forget, the most important thing of all is ask for the sale, which is the call to action. You always want to give them a call to action at the end, whether you're saying private message me, whether you're saying, make a comment down below, whatever it is. And then one thing I do suggest is after you're done with the Facebook Live, go back and look at your comments, see what people are commenting on, look at who's consistently coming on to your Facebook Lives and interacting with the people, because those are your prospects. Those are people that are looking. So those are just some tips I wanted to talk about with the Facebook Lives. And then, the other day, and it's all the time, my question to you guys out there, are you guys following your feelings or your dreams, right? And I think, when I just look at my daily life, I think a lot of times people are driven by emotions and, not their commitment. And so, like, if you just look at something simple like going to the gym, I mean, on Friday, I was heading to the gym, and from the moment I woke up, I was like, man, I'm just feeling tired today. Maybe I don't want to go, and then I got in the car and I was making excuses, and I was really just telling myself that I didn't want to go work out. And by the time I got there, all that negative self-talk, I was like, I just could go home today, right? And then I kind of sat back and thought, my emotions are getting the best of me. It's overtaking my commitment, and that's just not who I am, because my commitment does not bow down to my emotions. My emotions bow down to my commitment. And that was very important to me. And I think a lot of times what happens is, this self-talk begins in our mind, and we let our emotions take over, and it deters us for our dreams. And that's a very powerful thing, because when that starts to happen, the next thing you know, you give up. You give up on your dreams, your goals, and your desires in life. And so, I've just been feeling in my spirit just, over the last couple of weeks is that, are you guys getting tired? And sometimes you think, or you hear people say, prime that pump, right? They talk about all the time. What does that really mean? Like, if you just envision yourself walking through the desert and you see a well, and in this well, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. And you go up to that well and you're like, is there water? And then you look, and then you see a reflection on the bottom. So you know that the water's there, and the water the water's there. And so you're looking down, you're like, okay, so you start priming that pump. And so you do it for about 4 hours, right? And then all of a sudden you're just like, I'm tired. And so your emotions take over, and you're like, okay, I'm done for today. I'm going to come back tomorrow. And so you come back tomorrow and you do it again, 4 hours, prime that pump, nothing comes up, and that water is success. And so, you do the same thing every day, and then you just give up, right? And so what if you just pushed a little bit harder, and then that water would have came? And so a lot of times, people think that we work so hard, and that people, like even me in the gym, like I work so hard in the gym. It's not that I work so hard in the gym all the time. I'm just very consistent at it. And sometimes I think in this business is that people are not consistent in what they do. They work really hard for a couple of days and they give up because their emotions say, oh, I'm tired of doing it and I'm done. Or they don't push that extra amount. So for me, when people ask me, do I go to the gym, 5 days a week? I'm like, no, I go maybe three times. Maybe 3 times a week. And I don't work probably as hard as a lot of you do that go into these crazy classes, because I'm consistent in my daily rituals. And so, I want you guys just to look at your life and, are there some days you're excited about your dream? You're excited about your goals, and then some days you're not, and you just don't do it? Because if that's the type of commitment you have, then what's happening is your emotions are taking over your life. because you shouldn't be emotionally driven in this business. And that's why mindset is so, so important, is to have the right mentality here, because if from the neck up isn't strong, nothing works. Even though I'm physically strong, if my mindset was not strong enough to overcome not going to the gym on Friday, then I wouldn't went and I wouldn't have the results I have. I wouldn't feel good about myself. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you're not doing mindset, do mindset training. So important, whether it's 5-10 minutes a day. And then also control your emotions. Don't let what other people say or think control what you do. I mean, if someone is giving advice and if someone's giving you advice and speaking into your life and you don't want their life, don't let them speak into your life. Because that happens a lot of times. You'll call a friend that's kind of, not saying like a deadbeat, but you don't really admire anything about their life, and you're calling about the business and they're like, no, I don't want to do it. And then you're like, well, if you don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. So I want you guys to be strong. Mindset's huge. Overcome those emotions, those negative feelings that sometimes you get every day, and just have hope. And, for me, I have somebody in my life. It's a good friend of ours. His name is Troy Smith. He was actually there the day I met my husband, which was kind of funny. But he's somebody who speaks into my life. And, even though we have a lot of success, there are some days that emotions start to take the best, right? That take the best of me. And I have to confide in other people and just have people that surround me that are going to speak life into me, because it's so much easier for people to bring you down than to lift you up. And so today I wanted to introduce somebody to you that is dear to our heart. It's one of our best friends, and he speaks into our life all the time. And I just thought it would be such a gift for him just to speak into your life today, just for a few minutes. He's a international Toastmaster speaker. He goes all over. He's a prophet of God. He's a motivational speaker. He's an author. And most of all, he's our best friend. So I'm going to introduce you to Troy Smith.
Yes.
Come on in. This is Troy, and he has a message for you guys today. I'm going to step out and give him some room to expand his wings. This is his first time on Zoom, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put you so you can see everyone for a second.
Okay.
This is the
Can you hear
group.
me?
Yeah, they can hear you. Can everyone hear us? Good? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, guys.
He sees you guys all, so give him a nice big wave.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, everybody, right. Whenever you get in front of the speaker view, it gets nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Okay, so his message today is called Hope Deferred, right?
Hope Deferred, yeah.
And so he's going to go ahead and speak into you guys' life. I hope you enjoy it. Here's Troy Smith.
All right. Hey, everyone. A friend gave me an introduction. I'm Troy Smith, Ricky's best friend. I've been knowing him for like 20 years now. Well, over 20 years, and I was there tonight, the night that they met. So today I just want to talk about hope being deferred in reference to Vaseo. And I think all of us have had some hope deferred, in our life, whatever you're going through. But I want to use the story of Joseph out of the Bible as my platform to talk about this. Because when we think about the word hope, we associate it with expectations, excitement, wishing something happen like right now. But what do you do when what you're hoping for isn't coming to pass right now? Because a lot of people don't know how to handle that. They just stop, they quit, and they just give up. But, is that the right thing to do? And many of you may know the story of Joseph. And like I said, I'm just going to touch on it briefly. But he was a guy that was kidnapped, thrown in a pit, and sold to slavery. But something significant about Joseph was, when his brothers threw him in the pit, it was several people that came by the pit while he was in the pit, hoping that this day would be his deliverance, but it wasn't. So as time went on, they finally sold him to a group, and they took him to Pharaoh. Now, like I said, here's a guy, he didn't do anything. He was just thrown in the pit by his brothers. So he get to Pharaoh, he get thrown in jail. He end up getting out. He get thrown back in jail. So how many times did Joseph say, man, this is it. This is my time. This is my year. But it doesn't happen.
Hope deferred make a heart sorrow. But Joseph never got out of character. He never stopped being who he was created to be. So in essence, using Joseph, a person that was just did wrong. Something happened. Said you have logged from another device. Hold on one second, guys.
Still there. Okay, can you hear us?
Y'all
Thumbs
hear us?
up.
Oh, they say all good. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
good.
fine.
Okay, good.
All right, sorry about that. So, like I said, with Joseph's story, he thought his deliverance was going to come, but it didn't. But at the end of Joseph's story, he was the most profitable person at that time, and he had all the authority, all the resources of the king. So what I'm saying is this: no matter what you're going through, you got to keep your faith and your hope alive. Because just like it happened for Joseph, it'll happen for you, But like I said, here's a guy who thought he was going to get delivered out of the pit, thought he was going to get delivered out of prison, but it just didn't happen. But in the process of time, it ended up working out for Joseph's favor. And, like I said, I don't know where everyone is in Ucrew Nation and in Vasale, and it's just a word of encouragement. And if I can also touch on the farmer. In Mark chapter 4, Jesus talks about, he gave a parable to the disciples, but he used the illustration of a farmer to give a spiritual principle that you can apply to a natural means. And what he told them is the farmer went out to sow a seed, and your seed is your business. If you can kind of look at it that way, your seed is your business. So he said the farmer went out and sowed a seed, and 4 things happens. Some of the seed fell by the wayside, some fell on stony grounds, some fell on thorns, and some produced a harvest. So when he begins to say some fell by the wayside, anytime you get into something, the wayside can be doubt, can be a fear. It could be a multiple things that's trying to stop you from getting to the next level. Now, when you talk about stony grounds, that's just when you just want to give up and quit. Hey, this is not for me. I can't do it. And like Francois say, it's an emotional mind fight, really. Then when it hit the thorns, you just disconnected yourself from everybody. I don't want to do this no more. I just totally quit. But he also talked about the harvest. Now, what's the difference? I believe the field represent the condition of your heart about your business. Do you love it enough to continue to keep watering the field with the things that you need, the things that Rick and Fran talked about? You have to water the seed, because we have 4 seasons, and one of the seasons are winter. Nothing grows in the winter, nothing. But if you've been tending, being a good farmer during the other 3 seasons, when the winter comes, you can just sit back and say, hey, the summer's coming. I know a harvest is coming. And that's what keeps your hope alive. And Fran touched on being consistent. And if a farmer is not consistent, you cannot produce a harvest. Maya Angelou said a quote, and she said, in order to be your own Tour of France, you have to believe in you first. So as long as you continue to push through the 4 seasons, push through the hope being deferred, I guarantee you're going to see a harvest. You know, you just can't give up, because your mind is going to tell you all about you. And anywhere the mind goes, the body have to follow, like a soldier. When he say about face, he turn all the way around and go the opposite direction. So sometimes through this, you have to tell your mind, be quiet. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing this now. And literally begin to talk to your mind like that. That way you can begin to shape and shift the thought process. Because the minute you allow fear to come in, now you're in a fight, because fear is going to bring up all the times you failed. And it's going to be a constant battle, back and forth, back and forth. So lastly, I want to talk about the birds. And this is something that I received kind of at the latter end of this message. But it's really, 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 really important to the leaders, and really, really important to the whole team. But you have to pay close attention to get the meat of what I'm about to say about the birds. So the penguins. The penguins live in Antarctica, and some reports says it gets cold at 60 or 70 degrees below. But the penguins are the only birds that doesn't leave the territory. And you would think 60 to 70 degrees below would kill a penguin. But they don't. It don't kill them, because the penguins flocks together. Because they understand the colder it get on the outside, the closer they become together, and they stay connected, because they draw heat from each other. And this is where I'm going. If you're having a tough time in the business, don't flock away from your team. Stay together. Because as long as you stay together, your strength is in your unity and your connectivity. Because the penguins understand we are better together than apart. Because it's cold outside when you begin to separate. And for the ones that need that extra boost, I'm speaking directly to you. In order to take your business to the next step or the next level, you're going to have to let great people, your leaders, flock together with you. Because watch this. Don't be intimidated by their greatness. Do you see them through the lens of competitiveness, or are you strong enough to see them through the lens of collaborativeness? Because truly great people can accommodate the greatness of others. Don't be great by yourself. Because the minute you try to isolate yourself and become great by yourself, you will lose the impact what you can have on Vaseo, and like the penguins, you lose your protection. That's good, right?
That's good.
So remember, the penguins, the only birds, I don't care how cold it gets in Antarctica, and it gets cold, right? They don't leave, because they begin to get closer and closer and closer together. And I've been a person that have left a flock and it get cold outside. And then when you leave, you get attacked. And then your mind begin to tell you, once again, I can do it all alone. I can do it all alone. So I just hope today that this encouraging word kind of helps someone. I mean, I can go on and on because I'm getting excited, and this is what I love to do. But, just remember, Joseph was thrown in the pit, hope deferred. Every time he look up, hey man, is somebody delivering me? No, he was delivered to the jail. He go to jail, get out, go to jail, get out, same deal. But he was victorious in the end. The farmer, plant the seed, I have to watch it. I have to tend to it. I have to do everything it takes to reap a harvest. And the penguins, they stick together. So I enjoyed you guys, and hopefully I'll be seeing you again. And I just hope this bless you. All right, here you go, Francois.
All right, guys. That's our Troy, our one and only. Isn't he amazing?
I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love that. Thank you for doing that for us. All right, guys. Well, Dave, do you have anything you want to add? What I see when he says that too, I think about our system when he talks about the penguins and stuff, it's kind of like our system too. It's like, a lot of times you go out there and you just share and you think you can do it on your own, and you could do it on your own. It might work, but it probably won't duplicate, right? But, we are stronger together. Third-party validation is huge in this business. And, if we stay united and we follow that system, we can build something amazing here. But, you can't do it on your own. We can't do it on our own. When we do meetings, we use other people's stories. We call Daniel, we call Holly, sometimes we call, other people like, Corey or Jennifer, Jenny, Benny, or, whoever. So we always stick together. And, we never feel like we're in competition with anyone. We're always growing together, and we learn from each other, just like we were talking about earlier. Ashley and Megan pushed me to grow and get out of my comfort zone. So I love what he said today. It was really good.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the farmer analogy, a lot of people go off what they see instead of keep on harvesting and planting. We might not be in competition against each other, but we're definitely in competition to reach our dreams and goals. I think you definitely have to be competitive to be successful in any kind of your own business, because you got to be able to compete. Because so much in life, you get up in, if you're corporate America or a lot of jobs and a lot of traditional businesses, you have a set of time frame that you have to be there, and someone's already given you what you have to do, right? So, here in a self-performed business, you got to be self-motivated. And that's where competitive edge comes in. And, just like the analogy Jesus used also is the birds. The birds are going to get some of your crop, right? Some's going to fall on stony ground. Some's going to fall on fertile ground. But eventually, you're going to have a harvest. And super powerful. We are hugely more powerful together as one unity. I love that. And, we every day want to help you guys win. This is a fulfilling business. And what I love about this business, I always say this, it's, I've had a traditional business for 21 years and success on my own was lonely. Here is very fulfilling. So I was at a meeting this past week, and a father came up to me and he said his 18-year-old daughter has made $250 each week for the last month in this business. Like, it was crazy. They wouldn't sign up, his parents, and she finally, 18 years old, walked over to the house and signed up with a couple before they did. And then the mom started sneaking her products, and then the dad, the pilot, and he came home, and he was gone for a while. He goes, in the bedroom, he goes, what have you been doing? You're smaller, you're skinnier. And I started taking that stuff that she signed up for. What? And he went and researched every ingredient and was so impressed. They signed up, and now the dad and mom's building it too and taking all the products. But the 18-year-old daughter had the conviction, and she, as we heard Rob say, she jumped off the cliff, right? And she jumped, and now she's 18-year-old making $250 a week. That's amazing. That's $1,000 a month. So this business is open to everyone, but it's always fulfillment when you hear these stories. So guys, that's all I want to add to it. Troy did amazing. Francois did amazing. A lot of information for you guys to take in and go out there and spread it out.
All right, guys. So you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Or some of you Monday, maybe. Okay, bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.